Linus O'Brien, the director, the mastermind behind the new documentary Strange Journey, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I would kind of call it a love letter to Rocky Horror Picture Show, but I would also say, like,
Mm.
and as a son and as a father, I'd say this is also a love letter to your dad. How would you describe it, Linus?
Yeah, that's exactly how I would. It's really a chance to celebrate the fans who've loved it for all this time, like on a very deep personal level, and to celebrate my dad's work and his music, which I think he kind of dismisses sometimes, and I get a little bit frustrated by that.
Uh-huh.
So having the opportunity to really let him know how much I love his work and what he's put out into the world. Yeah, it's a lovely opportunity for me to give back to him.
So amazing. At what age were
Mhm.
you? Like, because I know that people grow up and their fathers, their parents, they sometimes can have cool jobs, and the kids can be quite oblivious to just like how much of a genius. Like, think about David Bowie's kids, and right. At
Sure.
what age were you when you realized, wait a minute, like the stuff I'm familiar with isn't just what my dad does. He's actually a fucking genius. Like,
Yeah,
was there a
I
moment?
don't know. I don't know if I ever saw it that way because when you're in it, you don't know any different. It wasn't like I was with some other family and then got transported into this life. I just kind of grew up with it, and
Yeah.
so there were some nice moments. I remember visiting the set of Flash Gordon. That my
Yes.
dad had a small role in, and getting to meet, going wandering around the sets and stuff. Um, yeah, so I was really, yeah, those kind of moments kind of made you go, "Oh, this is a bit different," but it wasn't, we just had a regular life for the most part. I remember a story. I was It was about 1978. I was sitting underneath the kitchen table, and I could hear my dad on the phone, and he was going, "Oh, really, really?" And I asked him what the phone call was about, and he goes, "Oh, it seems like the movie's doing really well now." And I said to him, "I thought you said no one liked it." Uh, and he goes, "No, no, people seem to be enjoying it now." And then we went out and got some food somewhere, and that was, I think, his first realization that the midnight screenings were taking off. So that was like a little like insight into a moment in time which was actually the start of something very special. So
Mhm.
yeah, just Rocky would pop in and out of our lives over the last 50 years, and now it's maybe stronger and more relevant than ever, with the Broadway production coming back. And it's still touring around Australia and New Zealand and England, and then obviously with the documentary and the 50th anniversary of the film, it's Rocky is alive and well.
Yeah, he always will be. I think Rocky,
Mm.
in its sense, like will continuously. Like, who was it that said? One of my friends actually said to me when I was talking about a professional wrestler that had passed, and I says the
Mm.
fact that when people mention his name, like it elicits an emotional response from the audience, and he says
Mm.
that's immortality. That's how you live
Right,
forever. And I think
right.
that your dad, what your dad has achieved with everybody involved, like it truly is immortality. Really, when you
Yeah,
think about it.
and it never meant to be that way. It was literally meant to run for 3 weeks in a theater that held 60 people. And if it had been sold out, that 3 week run, and nothing had ever happened with it after that, they would have been very happy.
Hmm.
So I think when you're not trying to be worthy and you're not trying to hit people over the head with a message, I think it has a much stronger way of preserving that longevity that we're talking about.
Yeah, I
I
think.
couldn't agree more with that last statement. I feel like, I mean, this is a movie that has all sorts of messages, but was never going in with the intention. Its intention was purely just to entertain the audience,
Hmm.
and whatever anybody else took from it, they took from it. I think it's something that people could look at and, you know, say that this
Yeah,
is why this movie
it's
exists.
by not trying to send a message, you actually it actually does the opposite, which is a good thing to remember when you're creating stuff. Make it for yourself, make it fun for yourself, and hopefully other people will respond to it.
That's 100% what that is. And I think, like, with the expression in this film, I think Rocky Horror Picture Show is entirely subjective to anybody that watches it. I'm just your average straight dude, right? Not
Mm.
into, not I'm not into wearing anything for Rocky Horror Picture Show. But what I did is I watched that from a young age, and to me, like, watching that was just, okay, this is where I truly understood that people just like to be themselves, and that's sometimes what it looks like. So it speaks to everyone, not just
Yeah.
people that are familiar with the themes. It totally resonated with me, and it helped build the character who I would become today, which is someone
Oh,
who
that's
leads with love, you know?
amazing. It's lovely to hear. I think one of the interesting things about it is I think society tells us what sexuality should look like and be like. And it gave people the freedom to feel like they can be sexual beings too without any shame or apology. And I think we all carry shame about our bodies and sexuality from time to time in our lives. And so to be able to give that to people where they can feel like they can be themselves no matter how big, tall, small, or thin they are, like, I think that was it's another gift really that Rocky gives to people.
100%, 100%.
Mm,
The
mm,
great thing is we've seen, like, so Rocky Horror Picture Show on the Blu-ray. I've spent many times watching the little featurettes where you could
mm,
see your dad singing and stuff.
mm,
This for me was another chapter of being able to get right in and just explore more about Richard
mhm,
O'Brien, the cast. But
mhm.
one thing that I think this has over everything else is you are making it, and you're making it with your dad. So your
Right.
dad, he hasn't got some random guys coming at him, asking him
Mhm.
questions where there's actually, like, for him, did he explain to you or express to you what the feeling was like for him to actually do this with you and how special that was? And maybe you got stuff for him that other people would never been able to have got.
It's possible. I think he loved that it was in safe hands. I think he'd been approached by other people to do documentaries, and he wasn't interested because he wasn't sure how he would be treated or Rocky would be treated. And so he knew that I was gonna, treat it with the love and reverence that I think it deserves. So I think it was gratifying for him to be able, for me to be able to tell the story in a way that maybe he feels hesitant to do so.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Hmm.
I was wondering when I was watching it, if I'm being honest, because of course the film is about the success of Rocky Horror and how it's endured over so many years, almost
Hmm.
against all the odds. But Kevin touched upon it being a love letter to your father, Richard O'Brien. I mean,
Hmm.
when you set out to make this documentary, did you originally have that as your intent, or was it always to kind of focus more on the Rocky aspect as opposed to this is Rocky, this is what he's done, this is what everybody knows my dad mostly for, but he has a legacy beyond Rocky Horror as well. I mean, we talked about me and Kevin are probably one of the few people who know about shock treatment, and
Hell
we know that
yeah.
very well. And
You were in
of
that.
course,
Linus was in that.
Yeah, yeah, that was
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
yeah, as I say, it's maybe not a film that took off in the same way Rocky did, but still has a cult audience. And of course, your
Mm,
father was massive over here in the UK during the 90s for the
mm,
Crystal Maze, and of
mhm.
course, he's got his own music career beyond Rocky. I was wondering if your intent was ever to kind of just focus on your father's career overall before, and then maybe it got eaten up by Rocky Horror, because of course that is what he will be
Yeah,
remembered mostly
I
for.
mean, I think it was with the nice thing about making the documentary is that it has a very sort of traditional storyline. I mean, say traditional, but there's a very linear arc to it, with obviously rise and falls that take place with the failure of the film when it first released and the failure of it on Broadway. So that story was always the meat of the documentary, or was always going to be. But trying to fit in those other elements, the effect on the LGBTQ community, the midnight screenings, my dad's personal journey, like fitting all those elements into it so you can still tell the linear story, but then have these other moments
Yeah.
was the trick of it all. And together with my creative partner Avner Shaloa, we really understood what was important and where to place certain things. I mean, there was a I think there's moments where, or a feeling that you would maybe I would want to spend more time with the shadow cast and stuff, but we had to make sure that everything was given its a good amount of time, and we placed all the shadow cast stuff at the end to really emphasize the importance of the legacy of the midnight screenings, and the fact that one of the interesting things is that at the we had a theatrical release in September, last September, and then another one a month ago, and here in the United States. And what you had was three or four generations of Rocky fans and Shadowcast members meeting each other. So you had like 70, 75-year-old Shadowcast members meeting teenage Shadowcast members at the theater and sharing very similar stories. And so to be able to be in a theater where you have all these generations watching the documentary at the same time and, you know, laughing and cheering and crying in it, it was very, very special for me and our team.
Yeah, can only imagine.
Mm.
I mean, that's you've touched upon it. Sometimes one of the most frustrating elements of the creative process is what you've got to leave out,
Mhm.
rather than what you've got to leave in to, you know, fit the narrative of the story you're trying to tell. So, I
Yeah.
mean, if you were to estimate, I mean, how much footage has been left on the cutting room floor, would you say? And would you ever be tempted to maybe even make a director's cut? Is there all the rage nowadays? I'm sure there'd be demand
Yeah.
for it.
I think we'll try and do some special, like an anniversary special edition DVD or something at some point with the extras. I mean, we shot like maybe 20 hours of footage with my dad in New Zealand over 2 trips. We shot like all the interviews were at least an hour long, or if not 2. Yeah, we had to, you know, really. There's that expression, "Kill your darlings," right? So you leave out you don't try not to repeat yourself. If someone says something, then they said it. You find the best version of it. You don't need to repeat what someone just said.
Yeah.
And so to service the whole movie as a whole, you have to leave stuff out. And we wanted the documentary to have a really, like, grab people's attention from the beginning and keep it the whole way through, and for it to have this very kind of quick tempo that, you know, you have some down moments in it, but you want the people to be constantly engaged. So that was the remit overall for me and my creative partner. But yeah, we hope to do some special features later on. We couldn't get them together for this current Blu-ray that's coming out, which I know is frustrating to some people and myself, but you know, they'll see the light of day at some point. And we actually did I actually did a Rocky Horror Strange Journey companion book with
Oh,
Inside
brilliant.
Editions, which so we got all the transcripts from the documentary and we gave them to an editor, and he basically wrote out the story through all the transcripts. And so you know, that's available on Amazon now. It's
Okay.
a 2-book collector's set. So yeah, very happy that we were able to include people's stories in the book in more detail.
Hell yeah, I'm a big fan of those. I've got a good bunch of my friends make those. They've done Beware the Moon, which is the
Right.
American Werewolves in London,
Oh
Lost
wow.
Boys, all those ones. So I'll
Right.
most definitely be adding that to the collection. Um,
Excellent.
Rock,
Wonderful.
Rocky Horror Picture Show for many, I think, like you do with any story, with any, whether you're reading a book, whether you're watching a film,
Mm.
you can pick a character that resonates with you. Mine
Mm.
was your dad, right? I always felt like I was Riff Raff. Todd's, I have to believe, is
Right.
Frank-N-Furter
I knew it was
because
coming.
Woohoo!
Knew it was
we
coming.
went we went together
Nice.
to see it, and I was dressed as Frank-N-Furter. For yourself, watching Rocky
Amazing.
Horror Picture Show, who resonates with you? Which character?
I mean, listen, everyone would love to be Frank-N-Furter for a while, right? To
Yeah.
have that kind of combination of masculinity and femininity, it's actually very attractive to everyone, and especially women, because women are looking for a masculine man who is in touch with his feminine side and not afraid of being in touch with his feminine side, and that's incredibly attractive to people. So yeah, I think. Everyone would like to be Frank-N-Furter at least for a day, just to see what that would be like.
Frank-N-Furter,
How,
like,
how could you not after watching Tim Curry in that movie? I know I don't want to get too bogged down in it, but it's such a iconic performance. I
top
mean, I
5.
think, yeah, I mean,
There's an argument to be made that without Tim being involved in the original production and the movie in the original production, that Rocky Horror might not have lasted as long. You know, Tim very much embodies those kind of that vibe in his life. He's very got a great wit about him. He's got great charm. He's got an amazing voice. Like he's just got what Frank-N-Furter needs. And so it's like, yeah, like you said, it's one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic debut of an actor and a character coming together.
Hell
And
yeah.
it's great. It's great that Tim was able to have such a wonderful career after Rocky because, you know, it would be easy to get pigeonholed as just being Frank-N-Furter. So it's really gratifying that he was able to have such a, you know, illustrious career after his, you know, incredible debut.
100%.
It's almost whenever a stage production of Rocky Horror is touring, I always feel really almost like sorry for the actor who has to play Frank-N-Furter because they really are.
Of course.
They've got
Like, how
two
do you follow
options.
that? How do you play Han Solo? How do you play all of these people? Like after you know the image that we have in our mind is of Tim. It's very very difficult for anyone who. So yeah, anyone who's got the chutzpah to take on that role, you know, more power to them.
Yeah, it's you either try and impersonate Tim, which you're never going to do, or you go and try and do your own thing, and people are going to say it's not enough like Tim. That's the way I see it. But you could say it for all the cast, to be honest. Coming back to the documentary there, one of the most important things I always find, especially when you're a mega fan of something, is whenever a documentary comes about something that you love, the first thing you're looking for is things that you want to learn new things about the production or about the history of the thing you love.
Sure.
And for me, this documentary succeeds in that quite a bit because we've watched all the documentaries that have been on Blu-rays and DVDs and been shown over the years. So it was almost like I was watching it and I was almost expecting to hear the same stories. Like when Patricia, like one that comes to mind is Patricia Quinn talking about Meatloaf. I was thinking, oh, here we go. It's going to be about him strapped to the wheelchair going up and down. And blah, blah, blah. But instead, no, it was the case about how he was the best kisser.
Best kisser, yeah.
Yeah, people always ask me what surprised you about the documentary, and I go, well, the story about Pat kissing Meatloaf. I'd never heard it before in all my years. So yeah, it was very funny to see that and that you recognize that. One of my favorite moment in the documentary is actually when my dad talks about seeing it for the first time with seeing the film for the first time with a large audience at a convention in New Jersey. And he talks about the Frank-N-Furter impersonator, Dory Hartley, at the 8th Street Playhouse, where the midnight screenings were born. And he talks about her sitting in front of the stage, doing I'm Going Home. And her silhouette is as large as Tim's, and the audience singing the refrains. And so when I heard that story, I was like, wow, that's amazing. And then we managed to find the original footage from the convention and intercut that with his story. And so when I see it with an audience, I just get goosebumps because it really highlights the live audience, live cinema, and theater coming together in a way that he hadn't seen before and that no one has seen before or since. You know, the word unique gets thrown around, but Rocky Horror is really unique. And that combination of theater, cinema, and live audience created something that we haven't seen before.
I think every character, and the way I kind of always looked at it, is that every character is an extension of Richard O'Brien, of his soul, right? Even like when Frank-N-Furter's saying, you know, whatever happened to Fairy, because he wanted to be dressed just the same. It was his journal in a sense of him.
But he wouldn't even recognize that at the time.
Wow.
He would just see it as a character, and I think that's what we have the professor of gender studies at USC here in California, Karen Tongson, and she talks about how our art expresses through our work before we even understand what's going on. And I think that's what happened in my dad's case, and it's and that's the beauty of it, right? You hope to find when you're creating art, you hope that your spirit is imbued in whatever you're creating, and it certainly was in that case.
Yeah, 100%. It just what really shocks me, and I've heard this quite a lot through the years, is just how quick Richard was able to just go, Like, and the things that he essentially just poured out of himself at such a rapid pace will
Mhm.
now live forever. And it just goes to
Yeah.
show that you don't need a room of 20 people. You don't need a long drawn out process. You just
Mm.
need to have it. And that's
Well,
what that is.
I think limitations and deadlines are incredibly important when you're making something. You know, there
Yeah.
was no time for them to be nervous about it. You know,
Mhm.
Jim said to my dad in the Jim Sharman said to my dad in the rehearsal period, like, "Oh, we need a song for Janet." And he's like, "Okay," and then he went off and wrote Touch Me" in like 90 minutes.
Wow.
And they're like, "Oh, we need a song for the
It's
dancers here." He's
insane.
like, "Okay," so he went home and then wrote the Time
Just
Warp.
one
You
of the
know,
biggest songs in the world.
yeah,
No
it's
biggie.
weird. It's yeah, but I think limitations and constraints are incredibly important to the creative process. You might think, "Oh, I need all this freedom, I need all this time." No,
Mhm.
you actually need the opposite. You
Yeah.
need pressure, you need a deadline, and because you just have to make it happen. There's no time
Yeah.
to fret about the time you don't have.
Yeah, for sure. The thing, one of the biggest things that really shocked me about this documentary is there is Peter Hinwood sitting being interviewed. Like, how? How did you pull that off?
I mean,
I know.
that was a strange one as well because I had no direct connection to him, and then I just saw he had a small Instagram page, so I just started messaging
That's
him, and he
right.
was like, "Oh, I don't know whether I should, or I don't have much to say," and I'm like, "Well, listen, please come down, Peter. It'll be lovely to chat to you." And we spent very little. Like he was true to his word. He had like I think that was the shortest interview I did like maybe 25 minutes or something,
Yeah.
but it's important to because I think he'd never acted before, and he does a great job. Some of his
Mhm.
reactions and his acting is amazing in it. But I
Yeah.
asked him like, "How did you do that?" He goes, "Well, Jim just told me what to do, and I just tried my best to do it." I was like, "Okay, that makes sense." So yeah,
100%.
it was really good. I mean, when he's eating the food at the dinner scene, when he's turning on the lights
But
for the floor show, it's
Yeah.
very very
the
very funny and
the one
amusing.
that
Yeah,
always
very.
gets me is when your dad's shooting Frank and Rocky at
Yeah,
the end,
yeah,
and
yeah,
Rocky's carrying Frank and is
yeah.
he's getting shot with a laser, and he just turns around and kind of goes,
Yeah, it's
ah.
like a very yeah. Well, it's a King Kong moment,
It's
right?
Yeah.
perfect.
That's what it is. Whatever happened to
100.
Like,
Fay Ray? Well,
stop
she
it.
was carried on Rocky's shoulders
Yeah.
and then dropped in a pool. That's what happened to her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so good.
100%.
yeah.
It is. It is. I think that he should take a lot of pride in Rocky.
Well, he
100%. And
doesn't. That's the thing. He's got this really weird because pride can mean two different things, right? And so he gets really hung up on the pride comes before the fall, right? So he
mm,
doesn't want to feel proud because he feels like if he does, then he's going to trip over somewhere. And I do believe that to a degree, but I also believe that pride isn't for yourself
hmm
sometimes, it's for other people.
yeah.
Like if I say I'm proud of my son, it's for him, not
hmm
for me.
Totally.
But sometimes it gets a little confusing. I mean, you need to find another word that kind of hits that spot. But yeah, he's very happy that it brings people together,
hmm
and he can't quite believe it. I mean, we get that, there's I don't think it's hyperbole or hyperbolic to say that Rocky has tangibly saved the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. There was a guy who came up to me at the end of our screening world premiere at South by Southwest after the Q&A. He was shaking. He was an older gentleman. He goes, "I just wanted to let you know that 32 years ago, my wife and I met at Rocky Horror, and she wanted me to tell you and your dad that if it wasn't for Rocky Horror, she wouldn't be alive today." And those stories come through on a daily basis to us through social media or in person. And I think it becomes a bit overwhelming for my dad because he's not sure what to do with it. Because if you sit with it too long, it becomes overwhelming. So, yeah, he's very happy and very pleased that it's brought people together in a way that he had no idea that that was going to happen.
Yeah. It's one of those things, like, it's not like he wrote a story just about a random. He never wrote Stranger Things. I
Mm,
truly believe that he wrote something that he felt he needed to say, and I think that's naturally why it resonates with so many other people. So
yeah.
for me, like, that would mean so much more because it was the project. It was like speaking
I
straight
guess,
from.
but he says, he says it's from the mind of a 13-year-old. which
Mm.
is it's kind of right. So I think it's an accident. The whole thing is an accident, as Frank-N-Furter would say.
Yeah. One from the vault.
Yes, exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
Did your dad and yourself, what did you guys think of the reboot? Was it 2012, 13, wasn't it?
What, the
Ooh,
remake?
The remake, yeah.
yeah.
I never saw it, and I never saw the Glee episode, so
Uh,
I don't have any wish to see it, but you know, if it sustains Rocky in some way, that's fine. I'm sure someone got something out of it, but yeah, wasn't inclined to watch it myself, and
I,
I don't think my dad's seen it either, to be honest.
I feel like it was maybe a necessary evil because the questions were always going to be there about when are you going to remake Rocky, when's it going to happen, and
Yeah,
you'll know better than anybody. These questions have been lingering for years, so I think finally just getting it made and having it be there, going, okay, that happened, it's done.
yeah,
So it's there for people if they like it. I mean, to be fair, I thought
sure,
I thought they did some good renditions of the song, but
yeah.
it's the original is still the one that everybody's talking about.
yeah, of
It's the
course.
Yeah,
one the stage show.
a remake is weird
Yeah.
anyway because it's so unique. It's like someone trying to remake 2001 or someone, you know, The
Yeah,
Deer Hunter. What are you gonna do?
Mhm.
It's impossible to top it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, the remake has always been a bit strange. A
Mhm.
sequel maybe in the right hands, but who knows?
Well,
well, there
there
was a
are what?
sequel.
5, well, there was shock treatment, but I seen recently from your post,
Mm.
Richard has written 5 sequels, correct?
Yeah, maybe even more than that, maybe 5 or 6, and yeah, it's in fact the music from Shock Treatment was actually taken from the direct sequel Rocky Horror Shows His Heels. So that's something that I'm not sure that people realize. But yeah, so there's a lot of material that we have here. I don't It's not going to happen anytime soon, but you know, there's a possibility. It was a very bit of a tease, that post, as people are finding out.
It would be interesting. Do you think one day, a big company like Disney or something could come in, buy
Well,
these, and do
I have in
something?
mind the director that I would love to do the sequel
Who
with,
would this
but
be?
I'm not gonna let you guys know.
Ah,
Yeah,
damn.
if you think about it, long and hard enough, there's literally just one person
Mhm.
who could probably do it justice. So I'll let you speculate.
Just a clue for the speculation, because I know the comments will be hit up with this. Is it someone that worked on Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Mhm. No,
No. Right.
no, it isn't.
Okay. Well, we'll let them all
I mean, it's
speculate.
really once you realize it, you'll be like, oh
Yeah.
right, I actually do want to see that version.
Mhm.
So another tease. I'm being very very teasy today.
Okay, that's in the
Yeah,
spirit of Rocky Horror Picture Show.
yeah.
Um, for you,
Um,
like, sorry, Todd.
so I was actually going to ask because I don't know if it's been touched upon, but has your dad actually watched the film with you? Did he give you any feedback on it at all?
No, no, he's just very. I mean, I think I spoke to him shortly after he saw it for the first time with his wife Sabrina in New Zealand when they watched it on an iPad together, and you could tell he had, you know, tears in his eyes, but you know, no, not very effusive in his praise, but you could tell it meant something to him. And then I got to see it. What was really nice is that I traveled to New Zealand for the Dock Edge Film Festival, and it opened the festival there, and they had like a theater full of 700 people, and I watched it with him. I remember him laughing out loud when Sal Piro, was the president of the Rocky Horror Fan Club in New York, and he's talking to a reporter, and he rips off his t-shirt, and he's dressed as Janet underneath, and he's looking butch, and he's all got the hair coming out of his chest underneath the bra,
Yeah, yeah.
and he's going like this to the crowd, and my dad laughed out loud at that moment because it's very funny.
That's some good stuff. Most
Yeah.
definitely. The soundtrack. I mean, when you look at some of the greatest movies ever made, the
Hmm.
soundtrack goes hand in hand. Rocky. I
Hmm.
mean, even to the point where people can hum scores.
Hmm.
This soundtrack has to, like, I'm sure that at every second in life, that
Hmm.
soundtrack is playing somewhere.
somewhere.
Yeah, because it's such an outlier and it's so unique, the story. I think it gets lost sometimes in the conversation about the greatest musicals,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
West Side Story and The Sound of Music. But it's right. It's in the mix, right?
Yeah.
It's in the top 10, top 20 of
Mhm.
greatest musicals ever written.
Agreed.
So yeah, my dad's very happy that it's mentioned alongside all of these other great musicals. Yeah, it's really nice to be in the conversation.
I,
Million
I
percent.
think one of your dad's famous quotes was, "If anybody tells me it's better than West Side Story, though, I will have fisticuffs with them."
Yeah, I think he really loves West Side Story. But but everyone's opinions are different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get hung
Yeah,
up. You take the good opinions and the bad opinions just the same. You have to try. I know my dad. Most people, and it's weird because I hear a lot of artists say that they can hear like 100 good reviews and then it's the one bad one that sticks
Mm.
in their brain. But I mean, I do understand that theory, but you have to treat them both the same because you know they're just opinions, right? And we all have opinions about our own work, and so uh, i- be confident enough to know. Like I made an album in 2016, this electronic album, and I knew that it was not like a 10 out of 10, but I gave it whatever, a 6.5 for my own work, and what other people make out of it is up to them. So
yeah,
yeah, if you're a creative person, just take each negative or positive opinion as just the same, and because once you make something, like it's done, right?
yeah.
When it goes out into the world, other people can form their own opinions, but
Mhm.
it should be the joy of the creative process. That's what you're getting out of it, and what happens to it after you've made it is out of your hands.
A million
I've never
percent.
understood anybody who would create something for with other people in mind. I don't think that's the way you get the best out of yourself. I think, from my perspective, it's always I would create what I like, and if other people like it, great. There was when I went to film school, my lecturer used to say to me, "You
Mm.
can be good, you can be bad, just don't be boring."
Right. Well,
So
I think that's Rick Rubin's mantra as well. You make it for yourself. You make it only for yourself, and hopefully other people will enjoy it. And if they don't, you made it for yourself anyway. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
yes,
It's like a
Well,
painting as well. You could do 10 paintings. You're not going to look at all 10 paintings and go, yeah, that one's better. But you know what? What I didn't do here, I learned here.
yeah,
So the
yeah,
purpose in this one and where I was
yeah,
at this very time,
yeah.
there's the story within that.
I
What's
completely
you
agree.
know that's
Yeah.
the way I always kind of look at it.
No,
What is your
absolutely.
favorite song from the Rock Horror Picture
I
Show?
mean, I love. It was funny because when I was younger, I used to love. When I was very young, I used to love Wild and Untamed Thing, which I still
Hmm.
do because it's very energetic. And then when I was young, I used to find I'm Going Home boring, and obviously that's completely flipped now. I'm Going Home is
No,
probably my favorite song, and then and Superheroes I love as well. So
amazing.
yeah, so it's the mellower songs which I gravitate towards to now. But yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it's weird, right? Because I mean, virtually every song in Rocky Horror is so memorable, you know. So yeah, it's weird that because West Side Story, I only know When I'm a Jet, You're a Hell of a like that's the only one I know from West Side
yeah.
Story. I mean, Sound of Music, I know most of them, but yeah, Rocky has the songs have a way of just kind of seeping into our psyche.
Million percent. We actually
Mhm.
Rocky Horror, Todd and I's friendship. Like we've got so many Rocky Horror stories. One
no,
actually, we went to audition for a part in a show called Viva Mexico. We're playing, was it Pepe and something? What was
Pablo
the
and
other guy?
Pepe.
Pablo and
I
Pepe.
don't remember the story, so I don't know what's
Right.
going.
So we went in and they gave us a list of songs in which we could perform as the
Mm,
musical number to try and get the part. We went to the audition with my acoustic guitar and we played
yeah.
Eddie's Teddy. We literally got the song and went, screw this, and we played Eddie's Teddy and we got the part.
Great,
Yeah,
awesome.
Remember that, Todd? That was so good.
yeah, that, and I thought it was gonna be "Damn It, Janet." Karaoke song was "Damn It, Janet."
Right,
Every Friday I would have to do the Janet part, but
Yeah, that's
amazing.
right.
yeah, yeah, if we're getting onto that part, I mean, I can't. I can't. I know you've heard all these stories before. You've of course expressed some in here, but yeah, this film's been like. I'll be honest. I'd never seen this film until I met this guy here. He started doing some funny quotes from the film, like one for the
Right.
vaults, or
Right.
He's
he's in
in
the
the
Zen
Zen
room,
room.
and I would be like, what is this you're talking about? And he's like, have you ever seen Rocky Horror? I'm like, oh no, I've seen the image of Tim Curry in the fishnets, but I never thought it'd really be for me. And he said,
Right.
go and watch it. And I must have watched it about 17 times in 1 week and kind of came back out of my
Jesus.
house a different
Oh my
person.
God. Right.
Yeah.
It's like, whatever this thing is, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Oh,
it's
it's just
been that way
amazing
ever
to hear.
since. It was,
I think as well, we spent half our life truly not even understanding what it was actually about. We were
Right.
just encapsulated with the ride. It's like sometimes you go to a rock concert, and even if you don't know the songs,
Right.
you can still feel that energy and you still enjoy yourself. So we
Right.
like the first time I saw it, I was really, really young. My mum had it on a videotape.
Yeah.
She loved Rocky Horror. So I
Right.
watched it as a kid. I never stopped to think about it, like a dog with its face out the window and a car
Yeah.
turning.
Yeah.
It just enjoys the ride. It doesn't question anything. This was just normal to me. And that's why I say it is quite interwoven into who I am. Like from a very young age, I never questioned a thing about it because I'm watching it as a kid so innocently, just like, so
Right.
it was always for me like, why did Riff Raff kill him? Because what? Like, and eventually as I started, even I remember in a shop seeing
Right.
Frank-N-Furter on a sausage going, they named this sausage after like Tim.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I didn't
Right.
even know that a sausage was a Frank-N-Furter. And then I
Right.
realized
Right. Yeah, it's
Frankenstein,
ridiculous.
Frank-N-Furter, right? I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so totally. So I'm always
Totally
learning.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Totally. But that's the thing with Rocky Horror. And again, this is why another 20 documentaries could be made about this film, and we will still find out new things. We will still find ways to interpret them. It's just
Yeah.
it's such a, you said it, a unique piece. And I think what it has done, which we can always be thankful for, is it's, if you've already had it, like we already had a friendship, but it built layers to our friendship.
Right.
People around the world come together for this film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more than a film.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that's what that archival quote say. It's not a film; it's a way of life. You know, and I couldn't agree more with that person.
100%. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
With this being right now the pinnacle, Strange Journey, what do you see yourself doing next?
Well, I've got a number of projects on the go. One is very interesting. I'm trying to get a mockumentary made about Dame Edna. Because I think that there's some interesting stories in there, and Barry Humphries was always a big part of our lives, and my dad is godfather to his son Oscar, so we're having conversations now about trying to get the mockumentary made, and then numerous Rocky projects as well on the table. So. Yeah, hopefully those all start to come together in the next year.
Phenomenal.
That's really interesting. We were getting off topic. I always thought Dame Edna was a real person until I was like much older.
Exactly. So that's exactly why we want to do a mockumentary, because I think it lends itself so well to what Dame Edna was trying to do, and so let's treat her like a real person and skewer influencer culture at the same time, and reality TV. I think it's a good opportunity.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Todd.
I was just going to say, because I feel like Kev's wrapping us up here. I just want to say thanks, but just from ourselves, thanks for coming on, and thank you for making this film. It's a great addition to Rocky's legacy. And also, next time you speak to your dad, tell him that we love him, thank him so much. He's a man.
All right.
100%.
And if you want to do an interview with him, like somewhere down the line, just
100%.
Yeah,
1,000,000%. Anytime he's up for it, 1,000,000%. That's for us. That's bucket list.
Yeah. We'll make it happen.
That'd be amazing. Sure. That'd be amazing. We'll definitely keep an eye on what you're up to. So make sure we'll connect in the next couple projects you've got going. Jump on, and we'll most definitely love to watch it.
It's been wonderful. Phenomenal. Excellent. Well, thank you both. It's been really lovely to chat to you.
Pleasure has
pleasure.
truly been all ours. The absolute pleasure has been all ours. Phenomenal.
Fantastic. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Linus. Thank you.